Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Purity. Yes, also welcome to my channel, and today we are crocheting this beautiful yellow skirt, and this is how it looks. Kindly remember to subscribe to this channel, give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and I also love reading your comments. So this is how the skirt looks in a closer view, and we will work starting from the waistband, go to the body, then finish up with the mesh at the bottom of the skirt. And basically this is how the skirt looks. It's a very simple tutorial and very easy to create the skirt using double crochets and the mesh stitch, and we'll also create the waistband. Begin, we are using winter king yarn. This is 100% acrylic yarn and it's 50 grams. A 3.0 mm hook and a 2.5 mm hook. This is used for joining. You can also use a darning needle to join and also to stitch in the excess yarn. Stitch markers, a tape measure, and a pair of scissors for this project. To begin, we are starting from the waistband going down. Make a slip knot. That's how we make a slip knot, and chain 15. As I said, we are now making a waistband first. If you need a longer waistband, you can do 20 chains, but I need a medium-sized waistband, so we are doing 15 chains. I am done with my 15 chains, and we are doing single crochets across all the 15 chains that you have. So I will meet you at the end of the row once you're done working with your 15 chains. Remember, we are working on the waistband. I will let you know how to take measurements of the waistband when you're done with this first row of single crochets. I am done, and this is how the first row looks. To begin, on the second row, chain 1, turn your work, and this is a row of single crochets in the back loop only. So this is how we do single crochets in the back loop only. Initially we go through all the 2 stitches, but to work on the back loop only, you go through only 1 stitch, which is at the back, that stitch like that, and we do single crochet in the back loop only like that until you come to the end of your 15 rows. Okay, that's how you're working on the waistband. And remember to take your waist measurements. My waist measurements is 25 inches, so we are going to work up to 25 inches minus roughly 5 inches. So take your waist measurements minus 5 inches. That's how you get a perfect fitting waistband. So we will work like this until I get to 20 inches length. Remember, we are working single crochets in the back loop only, and that is our second row. Chain 1 to begin a new row, turn your work, and we're working single crochets in the back loop only. That's the pattern of the waistband. And remember to take your waist measurements minus 5 inches. That's how long we will work on your waistband. I am done with 3 rows, and this is how it look. You can see this back loop only stitch is quite stretchy, that's why you minus 5 inches from your original measurements. And to begin a new row, always remember to chain 1, and we are working with single crochets in the back loop only. So I'll meet you once we are done. I am done, and this is how my waistband looks. If we measure this goes up to 12 inches, and remember we're working up to 20 inches long. If we stretch it, and always remember to stretch your work, do not stretch so much, just a little bit. If we stretch it, it comes to 14 inches. So remember to always work while stretching your work until you get to 5 inches from your original waist measurements. As I said, I'm working up to 20 inches. I am done, and we want to join our work like this. We're joining using single crochets. And this is how we do it. You're just joining the two together using single crochets. Go in each stitch using single crochets, and I'll meet you once you're done. I am done, and this is how it looks. So we want to work on our main stitch, which is the double crochet. You will flip your work around. We're working on the right side. Put back your hook and chain 3, and we are doing double crochets all around. We are going in each stitch, and we are working with double crochets. Okay, so remember, when you're doing double crochets, always remember to yarn over first. So we're just doing double crochets all around until we meet here where we started our first stitch of double crochets. I am done, and this is how it looks. That is just row 1 of double crochets. Find the middle of your skirt. Remember, my waist measurement was 20, so if you fold into 2, it becomes 10. And this 5 inches mark is the middle of your skirt. Take stitch markers and put it at the sides of your skirt like this. That is where we'll be doing increases, so that we hit the hips measurement. So right now you need to take your hips measurements. My hips measurements is 36 inches. So put stitch markers at the sides of your skirt and make sure it's at the side, okay? To begin on row 2, first you need to join using a slip knot at the top of chain 3. Remember the chain 3 that we did? You join at the top here using a slip knot, and then you will chain 3. That's how you do a slip knot, then chain 3. And right now we are turning our work. Row 1 we didn't tie. For row 2, remember to turn your work, and we are doing double crochets until we get to your first stitch marker, and that's when we will start doing the increases. Okay, so I'm just working double crochets until I get to my first stitch marker, and I'll meet you once we're there. I am at the first stitch marker, and we want to do our first increase. So remove your stitch marker, and we are putting 3 double crochets in one stitch. That's the first double crochet. Go in the same space, put a second double crochet and a third double crochet in the same space. That is our first increase. Take your stitch marker and put it in the middle double crochet. Okay, the 3 double crochets that we did in one stitch, put your stitch marker in the second double crochet. Okay, and continue doing double crochets until you get to the second stitch marker, and then we will do another increase. I'm at the second stitch marker. Remove it, and remember we're doing 3 double crochets in one stitch. That is our first double crochet, second double crochet, and third double crochet. Take your stitch marker and put it in the middle stitch, which is the second double crochet, like that. Always put it in the middle stitch, which is the second double crochet. Then we will continue with the pattern, which is double crochets until we get to where we started from, and then we will join using using a slip stitch. Okay, so I'll meet you once we are here to join. As I said, we're joining using a slip stitch, and that's how you do it. You go to the third chain that we did on top of chain 3, and then we will join using a slip stitch, like that. Then chain 3, turn your work, and we are doing double crochets. And on this second row, once you get to the stitch marker, we are not increasing. So we are increasing on alternate rows. So this second row is a no increase row. When you get to the stitch marker, we will remove our stitch marker and do no increases. We'll just do normal double crochets all through. As I said, we are not doing no increases on this row. So remove your stitch marker, put a double crochet, and always remember to return your stitch marker at the same place, and continue with double crochets until you get to the second stitch marker, and we'll do the same thing. And remember, we are doing increases on alternative rows. So to get to your hips measurements, we will do increases on alternative rows until you hit your hips measurements minus 6 inches. So we are doing increases all through until you get to your hips measurement minus 6 inches. I'm at the second stitch marker, remove it, do a double crochet and put back the stitch marker and continue with double crochets. And as I was saying, we will work like this until you get your hips measurements minus 6 inches. Okay, so we are doing increases on alternative rows until you hit your hips measurements minus 6 inches. As for now, we are continuing with double crochets until you get to a point where we join. I am at the end and we are joining using a slip knot on top of chain 3. Like that. Chain 3, turn your work, and we are doing double crochets until you get to the stitch marker. And for this row we will do increases. Okay, so for row 1, no increase, which was a row of normal double crochets. Row 2 we did increases. Row 3, no increase. This is row 4 and we will do increases. Okay, so increase on one row, the next one no increase, but for this row we will do increases. So I'll meet you at the stitch marker. I'm at the stitch marker. Remove your stitch marker and do 3 double crochets in one space. Like that, and put your stitch marker on the middle stitch, which is the second double crochet. Always put it in the middle. Okay, and continue with double crochets until you get to the second stitch marker. At the second stitch marker, remove it and remember to do 3 double crochets in that same space and put back your stitch marker in the middle double crochet, which is the second double crochet. Okay, and I'll meet you once we are joining this row. Continue with double crochets and I'll meet you at the end where we join. I am at the end, and remember we are joining on top of chain 3 and we are using a slip knot to join. Okay, like this. Then chain 3, turn your work, and we're doing double crochet. And remember, on this row there is no increases, it's double crochets all through, but Always remember to return your stitch marker once you remove it, okay? Always remember to do that. So I will see you once we get to the stitch marker. And remember, this row, there is no increases done. I am at the stitch marker, so we remove it, put a double crochet here, then put back our stitch marker and continue with the pattern until we get to the second stitch marker, and we'll remove it and do a double crochet with no increase. I'm at the end, and this is how my work looks. We will join on top of chain 3 using a slip stitch like this. Chain 3, turn your work, and we are working with double crochets until you get to the stitch marker. I will meet you once you're at the stitch marker. And always remember to measure your work as you go, so you don't miss your target. As I said, we are working up to 15 inches front, 15 inches back, which is 30. And always stretch your work as you go. Don't overstretch your work, just a little bit as you go. So right now we are at, if I stretch my work, it goes up to 13 inches. So we are working up to 15 inches. I am done, and this is 15 inches. We'll do 1 more inch at least to get to 15 inches. But if I stretch this, it goes all the way to 18 inches. 18 by 2 is 36. That means it will fit our hips measurement, but I'll just do 1 more row to make sure it's at 15 inches, okay? So do that, and I'll meet you once you are done. I'm done, and this is 13 inches length. That is the length of my skirt, and remember the hips is 15 on the front and 15 at the back. It will stretch up to 18. So go ahead and remove the stitch markers and work double crochets all through until 18 inches. Remember, you can make your skirt longer. I wanted mine short, that's why I went up to 18 inches. If you want a longer skirt, do more rows of double crochets, okay? Mine is 18 inches, and now we want to work on the mesh stitch. So this is how my work looks as per now. To work on the mesh stitch, Let me just make sure I'm on the right side. And always remember to use a slip stitch to join your work on top of chain 3. Okay. So right now I'm just joining my last row on top of chain 3, like that. Chain 3, turn your work, and we want to work on the mesh stitch. So chain 1 more chain so it becomes 4. Skip the next double crochet and go to the next one and do a double crochet. Once you're done, you will chain 1, skip the next double crochet, go to the next one and do a double crochet, then chain 1, skip the next double crochet, go to the next one and do a double crochet, then chain 1, skip the next one, go to the next one and do a double crochet, then you chain 1. So that is the pattern. You chain 1, skip the next, go to the next. That's how we create the mesh stitch, and we'll do that all round, and I'll meet you once we are joining this first row of the mesh stitch. So I'm doing the last mesh stitch here, then we will join. So you'll come on top of this chain 4 and join using a slip knot like that. Then you'll chain 4, 3, 4, turn your work, and right now wherever we put a double crochet, we'll go up there and put a double crochet. Then you will chain 1, go on top here where you put a double crochet and put another double crochet, okay, after you have chained 1. So chain 1, put a double crochet on top of that double crochet, chain 1 and put a double crochet on top of the double crochet, and that is the pattern. We'll do that and I'll meet you at the end of this second row of the mesh stitch. Okay, at the end of the second row, just completing on the last mesh stitch, join on top of chain 4 using a slip stitch like that, chain 4, turn your work and put a double crochet on top of that first double crochet, okay. Now on the second double crochet we will chain 1. On the first double crochet there is no chaining 1 because we did 4 double crochets instead of 3. That's why we don't chain 1. So here we chain 1, put a double crochet on top of that double crochet, chain 1, put a double crochet on top of that next double crochet, chain 1, put a double crochet on top of that double crochet. And that is the pattern, and we will work like that until you finish your work. Initially my skirt was at 18 inches, and we will work with this mesh stitch until we get to 22 inches. So I just did 4 inches of the mesh stitch, okay? But you can make it long as you want. You can make it way longer. I just needed a short skirt. And as I said, my skirt is at 22 inches and the mesh stitch is just 4 inches, okay? And this is how my skirt looks. And now we want to work on the ribbing at the bottom here. We have a ribbing at the bottom of our skirt. That's what we want to work on right now, then we will be done. So to work on the ribbing, we will chain 3, okay? Just make sure you're working on the right side. Complete by doing a slip stitch on top of the chain 4. Then you'll chain 3. Turn your work. And on that first stitch, we'll go inside the first space, the space in between the meshes, okay? Then we will put a double crochet like that. Then go and put another double crochet in the same space, okay? So you have 2 double crochets in one space. The next one, we will do a single crochet. Go in and put a double crochet and put another double crochet, okay? For the next stitch, we'll do the first single crochet. Go in with a double crochet, then another double crochet. So that is the pattern. First you do a single crochet, then you do 2 double crochets, okay? 1 single crochet and 2 double crochets in one space. That's how we get the ribbing at the bottom here, okay? I'm hoping this is clear. If it's not, you can just go back and rewatch the part that is not clear, and I'm hoping you'll understand this better. So that's how we work on the ribbing at the bottom here of our skirt, and we'll do that all round. Then join with the slip knot at the end. Okay, I'm done. I just joined using a slip stitch and then chain 1 and cut off your yarn. The remaining yarn you just sew in using your darning needle. And this is how my work looks. This is how the mesh stitch looks. It's so pretty, and the ribbing at the bottom is so beautiful. Looks like this. So pretty. This is how my skirt looks, and thank you so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and see you at the comment section. Thank you again for watching. See you in the next video. Goodbye. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones.